Hello friends, welcome back. Let's continue with the journey of anacardium. The essence of the remedy will remain the same no matter how many videos you see and you make and how many ever books you read. Essence you don't have to forget, okay? So continuing the essence of anacardium, we will see in how many shades we can perceive and with different cases, okay? Initially, the natural feelings of tenderness, love and sympathy diminish. So initially anacardium is that tender, that sensitive, that loving, that sympathetic person. Okay, so how it gets transformed? There was a case. This man, he was in his 30s, maybe early 30s, when I saw him some 7-8 years back. And that time this man was a very very hard hearted person, okay, but they he had a wife and a daughter who was 3 years of age at that time, okay, and that couple had actually a love marriage, and after marriage he got transformed. When that, so wife was also my patient, so she would also have a lot of sufferings after marriage. So she would tell me that when I met him, okay, when I met him, I just instantly fell in love with him because he was such a joyous person. He would just laugh easily, he would crack jokes, he would be a very lively person who would express his love, and we would go out and we would just enjoy. But after marriage there was a sudden transformation in him due to the pressure that he started living in. Earlier he used to live in Calcutta, but we moved to Mumbai, and then he used to run this family where everything is so expensive, and he was just a graduate, but he was into editing, and in editing his earning was not very much, although the amount of work that he had to put in was too much. So all that pressure, that transforms anacardium. The expectations of people, the pressure around, all that starts becoming a domination for anacardium. So the tenderness, love, sympathy, all that starts fading away. And what happens is that this person starts becoming harder, okay, leaving behind a dullness, blankness, and hardness of emotions and thoughts, emergence of cruelty. So anacardium will be most of the time prescribed where there is emergence of cruelty. It is not an absolute cruel person in the beginning, but when the emerging cruelty is seen, that is the time when anacardium also feels that I need help, I need to just go. The disease starts originating, and if he comes to us for treatment at that time, we can really help him. So this man was suffering from a very severe allergic rhinitis issue, and this allergic rhinitis was like 50 to 60 sneezes every morning on waking, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, no timing, and he's just waking up with continuous sneezing, and with lot of coryza and discharges, itching of the eyes, and all that used to happen with every change of season and with every 10-15 days. And it used to go on and on. No matter how many anti-allergics he takes, it would not stop at all. And this was going on since the time he was married. The pressure on him, the kind of earning he was getting, it was not sufficient, he felt. And at the backdrop was that he was a very beautiful artist. He would make big sketches. So after he lost his job, or when as a freelancer he was working, when he was jobless, in those phases he would make a very beautiful sketch, and he would try to sell it off. And he was a very good guitarist, he would just love to play it all, but he could not earn a good income out of it, okay. So that pressure, to live in Mumbai for a person who is not much educated, but he's that he's not that qualified, but he has those abilities, he has that passion, he has that creative drive in him. for which there is no value in the external world. So because of that, he wants to prove himself. The ego in Anacardium wants to exhibit this creativity, wants to exhibit this talent, but it is not perceptive to people around him. So after constant shocks, disappointments, and hardships, that is why they undergo a lot of hardships in life. They become, and then they become insensitive. Okay, their cruelty can almost be a source of joyfulness for them. So what he started doing was that for such a tiny baby of 2 3 years of age, he started becoming so cruel. He the moment she would come from the garden, he would start yelling, "Oh, you've got all dirt in the house, go in the bathroom, go in the bathroom." Means that baby used to just come with those tiny tiny shoes, and he could not bear those feet of the garden inside the house. "Remove your shoes outside the house, don't bring them inside, they are so dirty," this and that. you know not allowing her to touch anything in the house, not allowing her to dress up the way she wants to. Little also drops on her dress, and he would like, "Go and remove it, it's all dirty. What you do, you don't know how to eat also." So that is the kind of temper he started building on. And the wife is also fed up that I can't leave them alone. He just keeps on shouting all the time. And the same night, that same man becomes a wonderful father figure, and they play a lot on the bed before sleeping. And the bed sheets have to be clean, spick and span, otherwise he will just go on and on by saying that you don't know how to maintain the house, and I don't know how to teach you that how you have to maintain cleanliness in the house, all that. So the cruelty can almost be, so they seek their acceptance by becoming cruel, and they feel that the more I shout, the more I do this and that, the more I can be acceptable. The lack of emotional liveliness, the hardness, represents a significant pathology. It can be likened to a heart tumor, a tumor of the emotional body. Inner conflict is the desire of the individual is to prove himself to others, that he is important to the world, to himself. The conflict arises because despite this determined will to prove himself, the person suffers from a profound inferiority complex. Anacardium is reluctant to admit his feelings of inadequacy. So that is why this term of pseudo ego was introduced by Rao sir. He told that, "Pallavi, whatever you are saying, that this inadequacy, this is the pseudo ego." So Anacardium does not possess that pure egotism like how it is in sulfur and other remedies, but Anacardium has a pseudo ego, because his ego is just his exhibition to the world that I am something, but it is not an ego, it is a cover to his own inadequacies, so that people do not come to know that he doesn't know this, or he is not capable of this, or he is just earning so meager. So he puts up that ego, okay, and he attempts to subjugate his lack of confidence with his will to succeed. The stress provoked by this effort creates an extremely painful conflict, a conflict resulting in great suffering for the affected individual. So the rubrics of inner conflict: ailments from being abused sexually, abused in a marriage, ailments from domination. So those expectations after getting married, he has to earn well, he has to live well, he has to do this, he has to do that. So that kind of pressure on a person can make his mind go into anacardium state of mind. Ailments from punishment, violence, contradiction, sadness from reverse of fortune, sadness after quarrel with husband, ailments from mental exertion, anticipation examination before. So when a child is getting scared of appearing in exam, fear of failure in examination, fear of appearing in public, anticipation, stage fright, So that kind of expectation, when parents are too much uh, putting the child under pressure, that you have to perform, you have to get well, and the child is losing himself, losing his confidence, and he he just expresses his wildness somewhere with his friends. He will get into a violent act, or he will shout out loud in front of the mother, who takes in all this, rather than the father who is putting in, and you have to score well and this and that, and the child just loses his mental balance. Okay. Delusion, then delusion, assembled things, swarms, crowds. Delusion, worthless he is. Delusion, she cannot succeed, does everything wrong. Confidence, want of self confidence, self depreciation. Timidity about appearing in public, fear of approaching of others, independent, lack of independence. They can be independent individuals, but they lack the capacity. They are capable, but the surrounding is such that they do not get that kind of supportive environment. They get lot of criticisms, and they get lot of abuses, and they are giving in, but they are not getting anything in return. They are just getting punishments and scoldings and firings. Okay. All these possible causes suggest that anacardium patient feels suppressed and helpless in one way or the other. So if you combine egotism with helplessness, you will get anacardium. Anacardium does not usually have a high self-esteem. When somebody forces his will onto him, the patient get into characteristic anacardium state of mind, which can go as far as insanity. That insanity can seem like a hyoscyamus insanity. So hyoscyamus feels let down. He knows that I am wrong suffered. He knows because of whom he is wrong suffered. He can pinpoint it, okay, and knows exactly somebody did him wrong. But anacardium is abused or got overridden by somebody, and isn't sure at all whether this other person was wrong or he himself. He doesn't know that because of this uncertainty. So there is an uncertainty in anacardium, where he starts feeling a separation of his will and the mind. Now he believes he is bad, then again he believes everybody else is bad. This state might go as far as schizophrenia. The foundation of anacardium states is often laid in childhood. The anacardium might have had a very dominating parent that didn't allow the development of child's own will, or the child constantly might have been told it was bad, it was lazy, it was stupid, but the foundation disease grows on and might be as strong as sexual abuse. With time passing, the patient becomes uncertain about whether what happened was his own fault or whether he was done wrong. Somebody else has done wrong on him, or it is his own fault. He just cannot understand that. And this becomes a weak state in which they lack confidence completely. They have no feelings of love or warmth. They feel isolated and unprotected. So it is a kind of a forsaken feeling where he feels he's alone. Nobody can understand what he is going through.